Everyone, it's Tawney. Thanks for coming to my channel and checking out my video. If you're new, thanks for coming to my channel. Thanks for being interested in checking me out, seeing what I'm all about. I film lots of makeup content, so if that's something you're interested, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you get notified of when I upload the next video. For those who are not new, I would like to somewhat formally apologize for not filming a video for the last 2 weeks. It just dawned on me the other day that I hadn't filmed in a while. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube, watching a lot of other stuff, I'm always watching TV. And it just kind of occurred to me, hey, you haven't uploaded anything. And it's if you're going to make a YouTube channel, you need to upload stuff. And I have been in a place, I don't want to say a bad place, but a pretty negative place lately. I want to put a trigger warning out there for this video. There's going to be lots of talks about depression, anxiety, any medical related things. If that's not something you're interested in hearing me talk about, please don't watch this video. Don't force yourself to deal with an issue you're not comfortable with or to listen to somebody talk about an issue like that if that's not something you feel like you are at a place you can listen to right now. So please go find another video. I have plenty of them where I just talk about stupid stuff, and it's not as heavy as what I'm going to talk about today. I just want to talk about where I've been and why I have not been filming lately. So last week, nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was going fine. I've just been busy with family and stuff. And I had plans with my boyfriend to have him stay from Thursday through Saturday. We'd hang out, we'd play some video games, watch TV, watch some movies. We're big Marvel fans. And I just kind of figured that we'd just chill, you know what I mean? And I went to work on Friday, came home, and my boyfriend was playing video games and nothing out of the ordinary. Well, then we had dinner and everything was okay. Well, then all of a sudden Friday night, he just says that he's not feeling the greatest. He just kind of doesn't look the best. And then by Saturday, he had woken up super early, and my boyfriend always wakes up really early. I'm one of those people that I could sleep till noon and I don't feel like I've had enough sleep. I am a night person, and I would say my boyfriend's a morning person. So it's kind of funny that we're drawn to each other in that way, even though we're so drastically different. Well, he had woken up really early and he was my stomach hurts, I don't feel good at all. He was laying on the couch, didn't really have the energy to do much. And I was this isn't okay. I was are you sure you're not getting sick? Because if you don't know, we had both gotten the C word back in September, and I got it and then gave it to him because I didn't know I had it, because I was fine for a full week before I actually showed symptoms. And I had been around my boyfriend that whole week leading up to when I actually developed my symptoms. So anyway, I was are you sure you're not getting sick? Because I'm already freaking out, worried. I've already been through some stuff. I don't need to go through this again with my boyfriend. I was are you sure you're not getting sick? Because that freaks me out. And he was no, I don't think it's that. I think it's my stomach. And my boyfriend has Crohn's disease, and his isn't severe enough to need medical attention, but it can get to the point that he needs to go to the hospital and get looked at. And I don't really know a whole lot about Crohn's. I've looked up a good bit of stuff, but I still don't quite understand it. A lot of stuff I've seen is more on the severe part than what he deals with. So it's kind of hard for me to really understand what he's going through, because it's not stuff that I've been reading up on and finding information on. All the stuff I've seen has been people that have more severe cases where it's life-threatening. And I don't think his is quite life-threatening. I think his is more just he has to monitor it and just keep an eye on it, but it's not it has never gotten to the point that it's scary. Now, I feel it has been, but I don't actually think it has, just because of he'll get in pain, but that's kind of as far as it goes. And I feel there's further steps past that it's not you know what I mean? It could get worse, even if I don't think that I feel we're already at the worst parts, but it can get worse. And he was I'm not feeling good, my stomach hurts. And he was just all day laying on the couch, just feeling so nauseated, just would only drink water because he's I'm afraid to eat anything. So like we spent all day Saturday just like hanging at my place. He like wasn't really doing anything, just sleeping and whatever. And the cat was like taking care of him and everything. Well, then, I forget what I was going to do next. Then Saturday night comes and I was like, you're supposed to work tomorrow. Are you going to go into work? And he's like, not with the way I'm feeling. So he called his boss and he called off. So then I said, do you want me to take you home tonight? Because that was the plan, was he was going to go home so that he could be ready for work in the morning. And even with him not feeling good and like calling off, I thought maybe he'd still want to go home considering he wasn't feeling good. And he was like, no, I don't know if I can even ride in the car. Like, he was like, I just don't feel good enough to even like be like, to get up, to get ready and take his stuff and go. And I was like, okay, well, no problem. You can stay the night. Like, it's not going to bother me. I have a full bed. Like, I have a queen size bed behind me. I have 2 couches in my living room, like, and I have floors. You know what I mean? Like, we can figure it out. So he was like, okay, I'll stay the night. So he was like, I'm going to sleep on the couch so that way I don't have to wake you up if I have to go to the bathroom or like need to go to the kitchen or something. So I'm like, okay, not a problem. So I'm not thinking it's going to get any worse than this and it's going to like go away within like a day or two. Well, then Sunday comes and he's like even worse. And I was like, oh crap, like this is getting bad. Like there's something really wrong here. So then Sunday comes and he's like, do you think you can take me home now? And I was like, yeah, I'll take you home. And I was just thinking like, are you sure you don't want to go to the hospital? Because if you're not feeling good, you need to get looked at sooner rather than later to get the pain under control and like get any fluids he needs if he's dehydrated. And I'm just like, you just need to get taken care of. And like, it's more severe than what I would be able to help with and what like his family could do. Cause he lives with some distant family. And he was like, no, I'll go home. So I'm just like, well, you need to think about going to the hospital. And I'm sure he knows when his limits have been like reached to know when he needs to go. So then I got a text from him later that night that he was in the hospital. And he's like, they got me on some IVs and some fluids and they're giving me some medicine to make me feel better. And I was like, okay, well, hopefully that'll help. Well, this was Sunday and it's now Friday and he's still not any better. Like he's been texting me and he sounds more like himself than he had, but he's still not like great. So I've been really worried about him, just that like something could be wrong. And like I, as a social worker, and I don't want to say that like every social worker is like this. I mean, they should be, but that's not always the case. I feel like I'm such a big like empath. Like I feel how other people feel. I like resonate with other people and their feelings. Like I put myself in other people's positions and really let all of their emotions, like I feel all of that emotion in me. And I've like felt, I don't want to say his pain, but I've just been like feeling horrible this whole week, knowing that he's not feeling good, knowing that like there's nothing I can do. Like I want him to get better, but he's just like slowly improving. Like he's not getting like super better, but he's not getting worse, which I guess is a good sign. That's like always a good sign, is that you're not getting any worse, but you also need to get better, because if you don't get better, you know what I mean? Like that, it's still not great. And he's like slowly getting better, but it's like taking a lot longer than like I thought. And last time he had gone into the hospital for being sick, he was only in there from like Thursday, Friday through like Sunday. So I was thinking that he would be feeling a lot better, like I thought he would have been better by now, because it's been 5 days. And like at this point, the last time he was sick, he was discharged from the hospital and was just like being monitored, taking medication, like taking it easy. He still wasn't able to go into work. He still wasn't able to like lift things or like run around and do stuff. Like, not that he does that anyway, but like he wasn't able to like be as active as he usually is. And, you know, I was okay with that, because at least it meant that he was like out of the hospital. Because to me, you go to the hospital and it's like bad. And like, that was even before I had to deal with everything this last year. So now with everything last year, I'm like even more antsy that like you go to the hospital and this is it. So I'm like panicking. I'm like in like extreme girlfriend mode, I have to feel like. And like, he is my second real serious boyfriend. If you've been following me for like the last 2 years, you'll know all of the crap that I've been dealing with and like how into relationships I can get. And like, he's my second serious relationship. And I actually feel like things are going really well between him and I, that I feel like I'm like extra worried, because like I want to be with this guy for the rest of my life. And I can't do that if you're going to like die on me or like something bad's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready for our future, and I don't want our future to just be like the next couple days, you know? So that's what's like freaking me out. And like, I want him to get better so bad. Like, I've been dealing with my own, like, not seeing him makes me depressed because I've been stuck home alone. I don't have any friends to go out and do stuff with. Like, a lot of my friends are like parents, so they have their own families, their own children. Like, a lot of them are like my mom's age. And it's just because of like going to college, you're around a bunch of people that like of all different ages, that all of my friends are just now like so much older that like they have their own lives and their own families, that they don't like, they can't be going out to dinner with me or hanging out. Or like a friend of mine went with me to Denny's one night at like 10:30 at night. I mean, well, we got there at like 8:30 because Denny's actually closes at 10:30 now. At least our Denny's. I don't know if that's like that's like nationwide, but like I it's just hard for me to like do anything because like Mikey's like, because my boyfriend is like my person that like I do everything with, and like I'm kind of that way for him, like not as much, but still like the majority of it. So with him being sick, it makes it hard for me to like be able, like I feel like I'm like stuck at home, and like I'm perfectly okay with not seeing my boyfriend for like a week, if as long as we're like talking to each other, and we've been doing that this whole time. But like knowing I can't see him has just made me so unbelievably sad, and like I feel like I'm so isolated, and it's just made it like the worst week. Like it's just been such a hard week for me, and I've been trying to pour everything into work and everything into like spending time with my cat, watching TV, like trying to distract myself. And distraction's not always a good thing if you're not familiar with grief and with loss and breakups and anything like that. I've watched like 1,000 TED Talks on all of this stuff in the last year, and well, I guess I should say last 2 years, honestly. But like they say distraction helps, but it's not like the solution to your problems. It's just like a temporary fix that doesn't actually fix the problem. Because at some point you're not going to be able to distract yourself anymore, and you're going to have to come to terms with like what's been going on. So I've been like in a really horrible like place where I just don't feel like I'm like struggling, and I don't want it to be like his fault that I'm so bored and depressed and sad and like so emotional, because it's not his fault. Like he has his own stuff to deal with. I don't want to put like my problems onto him, especially when it's just like my problems. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're all like in my head, and not to say that they're not valid, because anytime you feel anything, it's completely like there's a reason behind it, whether or not it's like, you know, you should be feeling that way, but you know what I mean? And I've just been like really struggling with it, and it's been like such a hard week. I haven't had the motivation to do anything. And like I take piano lessons, and when I went today, I had to tell my teacher, like I tell her everything, and I had to explain to her like my boyfriend's not feeling well. I was like so unmotivated to practice because I was in such like a bad mood all week. Like I went to go play and I just felt like so blah, and like sometimes certain songs can even get you. So I feel like it's just like it was just, I felt like it, like I was just not able to like do anything but lay on the couch and play Animal Crossing. And normally that'd be fine with me. Like I'd be okay with spending a whole week laying on my couch playing Animal Crossing. But like when there's those limitations and you're not able to do stuff you're used to doing, it makes it harder. And I've just been really struggling with all of that. And my piano teacher kind of made the comment. She's like, you know, this really shows that you care about him if you feel this intensely about him and you're that worried about him and his well-being, and if he's going to get better from this like incident we're going through. And that was kind of a good sign that it shows that this is like going to be a legit relationship. Like she's like, I can see the good in him, I can see the good in you. And she knows what I've been through in previous relationships, and like talking to guys and stuff, that like she can make this statement, it's like accurate. So I feel like really confident that, you know, this is a good relationship. And not that I ever even doubted it, but you always hope that like this one's the one, you know what I mean? So it's nice to like hear other people say that like they feel like this could be the one for me. And even though they're not going to ultimately make this decision for things to keep going, you know, they're not going to decide to get engaged or get married to this guy. Like that's all on me. But it still makes me feel nice to have that like outside validation that like they see good things in this relationship. So I feel like that's what's making it so hard on me to like get past all of this. And I'm just like, I need to like focus on myself, because that's what I can actually focus on at this point. Like, I can't do anything about these outside situations that are happening to me, but I can do stuff about what I like, how I handle them, how I handle myself, how I deal with this loneliness that I'm now suddenly like put in place with. You know what I mean? Like, I can start doing stuff with myself. Like, I can go for walks, I can go to the park, even though it's like 10 degrees outside. Like, the high for tomorrow is 20 and the low is 10, and that's warmer than it's been the last couple days, but it's still not great. So like, it really kind of limits what I actually can do, but like, I could go shopping. I go over and visit my nan and my mom, but it's hard because like, I want to hang out with friends, not with family sometimes. Like, there's a different like bonding relationship you have between your friends and your family, especially when your friends are closer to your age and your family's like 30 years older than you, you know? So it's been so difficult, and I'm like really trying to work past it and not let it like bother me, because like it could be worse. Like, I could be in my boyfriend's position, and not to say like I don't want to be or I'm glad I'm not, but it's just like I should be grateful that I'm where I'm at and I can handle things from my perspective and not like laying in a hospital bed feeling like crap. So I'm trying to get more into doing my makeup more, trying to get more into like practicing my piano, reading some books, playing even more Animal Crossing. I mean, if that's what makes me feel better, then like, and it's not any like bad substance that I shouldn't be doing. It's just video games, and you know, it's a really good video game. But so I've just been going through it, and it's just been really difficult, and I'm just like really hoping this funk goes away quickly. And I have a funny story for you if you all want to hear it. So in my apartment, I have a half bath that is also a laundry room downstairs. And I like to do laundry and shut the door because I don't have to listen to the washing machine making noise or the dryer making noise. And I could just kind of like forget that I've done the laundry and, go down and get it after like an hour has passed. Well, I was washing all my blankets and my boyfriend's pillow that he brought over because they had all been sitting on the couch all weekend. And I was just like, everything just needs to be washed. It'll just make me feel better that like with him not feeling good, even though it wasn't anything like bad, see, it wasn't contagious, and I was still just like, I still want it to be like taken care of, and like it will make me feel like I can handle a situation even if this is the only situation that I can actually deal with. So I took all of these to the laundry room. I did the blankets, then I moved on to his pillow, and I put the pillow in the washing machine just by itself and left it, and I shut the door. Well, I hear this banging, and my cat like jumps because he doesn't like loud noises. Well, then we hear it again, and I'm like, oh, it's just the washing machine, it's fine. But then I got to thinking, like, I probably should go check on it to make sure it's not moving. Because washing machines move if they're unbalanced, or if they're, like, not, if, like, there's one part of the washing machine that's, like, off a little bit, or if you don't have the right, like, if your towels are in the washing machine, you have them all on one side, then it becomes unbalanced in that way. And apparently, like, a pound pillow can cause these same issues. So I go to open my laundry door, and the door will move, like, if you can see this, it literally moves, like, this far. And I'm like, hello, I need to get in there. So I try it again as if it's, like, going to do a difference. It's going to make a difference, and nothing. And I'm just, like, freaking out in my mind. Like, how am I supposed to get in the laundry room? I look at the door, and I'm like, am I going to have to break down my door? Because I can't see any of the, like, the screws or the way it's, like, bolted to the wall, or whatever the terminology is. I don't know anything about this, but I can't like take the door apart from the outside. I have to go on the inside of the door. Well, if I can't get on the inside of the door, how am I supposed to take the door out? There's no window, there's no second door. There's literally no way to get into this laundry room without busting through this door. So I'm just thinking, like, should I call my landlord? How much is this going to cost for him to break down the door? How much is this going to cost, like, to replace the door? Like, I'm just thinking of, like, how much trouble I'm going to be in because I have to deal with this problem now. And it's not a problem I want to deal with. Like, I ended up, like, crying, like sobbing, crying, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I already have so much stuff going on in my life. My boyfriend's sick right now. I'm like, I can't deal with this. Like, I physically cannot like put myself through the situation. But then I was just like, girl power, you can work through this. You can do this. Like, You are a strong, confident, independent woman. You can do this. So I turned to Google because, when you don't have a dad that can answer all your questions, who could have actually answered this question, you have to turn to Google because that's your next best option. And when your boyfriend can't come and fix it because he's laying in a hospital bed, there you go. So I Googled what happens when you get trapped out of your laundry room, and there's a Reddit post on there. Now, I'm not the biggest Reddit user. I'll use it if I see something interesting, but it's not one of those websites that I feel like I am obsessed with using, or I'm eager to go on there and see people's opinions. If there's something that comes up that I feel like is pertinent to me or pertains to me in any way, sure, great, not a problem. But otherwise, I just kind of pretend that Reddit doesn't exist. I forget about it. I go to this page, and luckily there's answers to this. Now, it's a whole different story if somebody's telling you their story about getting trapped out of their laundry room. But if there's no answers, what are you supposed to do with this story? Just say, yeah, I'm in the same boat, but you know what I mean? We need some substance to it. So luckily these answers were saying, wait until it gets to the spin cycle. Then when it starts moving, then you push on the washing machine as hard as you can to get it to move and walk the other direction. And then they also recommended using a broom to try and do the same thing. Well, I was like, great. I already have my broom ready. I was going to use that to try and get some leverage, to try and push it. I had enough space that I could fit the broom fully inside the thing and around the door, because where the door was open, there was this much room. So I could get my arm in, but I couldn't really move my arm much because I couldn't once I got past my elbow, there was nothing. My arm's just too fat to go through that entryway. So I'm thinking about using the broom, but then I'm like, wait a second. I have a mop in my storage area that I don't use because I sort of kind of broke it. I think it's fixable, but I don't know how to fix it because I'm the one that broke it. So I remember I have that, and I'm like, I'd rather that break than my broom break because I actually use my broom. I paid good money for my broom because I broke it last year whenever we had snow and I didn't have a shovel. So that's a whole different thing, like a snow shovel. So back to our washing machine story. So I put the broom, I managed to wedge the broom or the mop into the laundry room. So I start back I had paused the washing machine because luckily it was a push start, not you have to pull a whole knob, because there would have been no way. I would have had to pry it, get some tongs or something, and that just wouldn't have happened. It would have been impossible. And luckily it was barely on the rinse cycle when this all happened anyway. So I started it, and then I realized I'm waiting on 2 rinse cycles because I put it on twice to actually wash this pillow and really rinse it out and really make sure it was clean. So I'm like, great, this is going to be a long night. So I put on YouTube and I'm just watching some videos waiting for this to be resolved. I just know it's going to take forever. So after about 10 minutes, it goes into spin, and I'm like, great, that didn't take long at all. So I throw my phone down on this dresser that's right next to the door. Then I as hard as I can, throw my arm in there and shove the washing machine. And I was able to get the top, the front part, as you're standing looking at it, the front section. I was able to move that into the dryer, but it was the back part that I couldn't reach. Well, when it got to be moving, it had already drained out all of the water. So it was in a pretty good spot that it was pretty light. And thankfully, all it had was a pillow in it and not a big bunch of towels, because I feel that would have really weighed it down. So I was able to move it, and the door was this much blocked. I've been able to get in there with it this much blocked, but not this much. So as it moves, I'm pushing on the door, and I'd pushed on the door previously, and I could hear the door splintering. There was no visual damage, but I could see that it was getting to the point that there was going to become some if I didn't try any harder. If I kept going, it would get worse. So I end up pushing on the washing machine. It moves out of the way just enough that as I'm pushing on the door, I go flying into this laundry room, go flying in there. And I look at the washing machine and I'm like, I am never shutting this door again when I run this washing machine. So I push it back as far as it can possibly go without messing up the cords and the outlet and everything back there, because fire safety and electrocution is no joke. So keep that in mind. And especially when you're working with a laundry room where they're extra heavy voltages and stuff, because it's it would be immediate, no chance. And I put a very heavy laundry basket with a bunch of clothes, propped it up against the door, and I was like, do not move again. I was like, I will go to the bathroom with this door open. I will wash laundry. I will dry laundry. I will wash my hands at the side of the sink instead of the front of it if it means this door never moves again. And a friend of mine told me to take the door off and just not have a door. But I was just like, no, I feel like this is a better option and I'd be able to like have control even if, you know what I mean? Like, I just like, it's just in my mind makes more sense to just have the door propped open all the time. You know what I mean? And I can shut it if I'm not actually doing laundry because I feel safe that like it's not going to move again. But I was like, oh my gosh. And I was just like, I'm one of those girls. I'm here for girl power to the end. Like, I will fight for women as long as I possibly can speak and breathe and voice my opinion. But there are moments where I would just rather step back, let a man do it, a boyfriend, a dad, what have you, and just say, I'm going to stand here and look pretty while you do that for me. Because, like, after going through all of that, my arm hurt. Luckily, it didn't get bruised, but it still hurts to, like, on the arm where the bone is, where I had, like, pushed my arm through the door. And I'm, like, so agitated that it actually happened that I'm still, like, in my mind mad at myself about this whole situation. So I'm just like, I don't want to go through this again. I'm just like, I will wait for days and let this pillow sit and rot in this washing machine if it means that I can get someone to come over and deal with it, because I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, I'm just done. You know what I mean? It's a funny story and I like telling it, but I hate getting stories like this because it means you have to go through some sort of pain to deal with it to get a story. And it's just like, it's just not worth it. You know, I'd rather just not be funny because I don't have these horrible stories to tell. And I hate to say that, but like, you know, oh, it's just, it's been. And it's a Friday, thankfully. It is a Friday. I'm going with my mom to dinner because my sister and my sister's friend bailed on us. I was going to have pizza and board games at my apartment because I've been so like upset about being home alone that I wanted like to be around people. Well, since they bailed on us, my mom was like, hey, I have a gift card for a restaurant. You want to go with me? And I was like, yep, we can go. So excited for that. Oh, I have to tell you another story. I don't know if I told you this around Christmas. I feel like I might have, but I'm not sure. So if I'm repeating myself, I am sorry, but this is also a conclusion to that story. So 2 days before Christmas, I'm over at my mom's house, and my mom has this like 30-plus-year-old TV. Like, it's been around longer than she was married to my dad, and they were married for like freaking ever. And so my mom has this really old TV, and we were in the kitchen with the dog, and all of a sudden we hear this loud buzzing noise, which usually means that the TV got like disconnected somehow, and it's like waiting to be reprogrammed or refixed or whatever, and reset up with the DVR like cable box we have. So mom's like, can you go in and check on that and make sure everything's plugged in right? The cat's probably knocked into something. So I'm like, okay, I'll go in and check on it and make sure that like nothing happened. So I go in there and everything's plugged in, and I don't really know the whole situation with the TV because I don't live there anymore. And I don't know how my dad had things set up after I had left because like I never got a chance to get it explained to me. So I go in there to try and fix it and it doesn't work. My sister in the meantime comes downstairs and I'm like, can you help me with this TV? I don't know if there's something I'm not doing, but it's not getting like hooked up to the cable box right. So my sister's like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. So she tries to plug everything in, tries pretty much like what all I had done. And she's like, it's not working. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but it's not like doing anything. So then mom comes in and she's like, did you fix the TV? And we're like, no, we couldn't figure it out. So then she goes over and then mom immediately like gets in a bad mood. And when mom gets in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood. It's been that way for my whole life. And I am like 26 years old. Man, I'm using the ink crayon Maybelline Superstay, and my lips are incredibly dry. I've been using a medicated lip oil for like a week now to try and help my lips stop being dry. I've been drinking water all the time, so I don't know why they're dry other than it being so cold, but I've been trying to heal my lips, and it actually doesn't make my lips look too bad. Like, you know how sometimes when you put a lip gloss or lipstick on and it just exaggerates every horrible thing you have on your lips? This isn't too bad. Like, I can see a little bit of it on my bottom lip, but like, I'm not mad at it. And from far away, you can't even tell. So anyway, back to my story. So mom comes in and she just gets all upset and she's like, my Christmas was already ruined. And now this is just another thing. Now I can't watch my Christmas movies. And she's a Hallmark fanatic. So like, for her, this is like the end of the world. And like, she's already been in a bad enough mood since October, if you all know what happened. And I'm just like, no, don't say that, because like, we're trying to give you a good Christmas. Like, I don't want to hear this when we're like working our butts off to make sure that mom actually has a decent Christmas, isn't upset about everything that's happened, and can like focus on the family she has, still has. So mom gets all upset and I'm just like, it's okay. So I was like, well, where's your iPad at? So I go and get her iPad and I load up the Hulu app, and I have Hulu Live so you can watch like live channels. And we always watched Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy together. That was like always our thing at 7 and 7:30. So I load that up and we watch it on our iPad at dinner. And she's like, this kind of sucks. And I was like, this is better than nothing. You should be glad you even have an iPad you can do this with. And I'm like, you have a perfectly good computer that you can do this off of as well. The desk monitor is like fairly big enough that I feel like she'd be able to like watch TV on it, like at least Netflix, Hulu, any kind of like streaming service. Cable, not so much, because I don't know how that works on a TV. But, and I don't know if she's ever had any kind of like online cable stuff set up at all. So we get all this set up and it's just like, it just kind of like fizzles out. Well, mom's still in a bad mood. So I go over on Christmas morning and she's like, I hate that we can't watch TV, because like in our family for like as long as I can remember, it was always a thing on Christmas morning that we would watch A Christmas Story while we were opening presents. After the first go around, dad would be like, okay, we're done. But it was secretly dad's favorite movie, like almost of all time. Like when I think of that movie, I think of my dad. And I was just like, I really wanted to watch it. Like that would help me feel better about the whole Christmas situation without him being there. And so we didn't watch that, but it was okay. And then mom was just like all upset. So after we opened our presents, we were feeling a little bit better and like things had been going well, and we're just like, no big deal. And the Christmas tree over there is hooked up into a box that when you talk to your Alexa, she turns on, and she will you can say turn on the lights and she will turn on the lights. And whenever you say that at my parents' house, it turns on the Christmas tree lights, and just the Christmas tree as we call it. So all of a sudden we're sitting there, Christmas tree has been on the whole time. All of a sudden the light goes out and you hear the click, pause, click, turns back on. And we're all sitting there. No cats are moving. Dog's practically asleep on the floor beside my mom. Nobody has even blinked. I swear we were still as statues and this happened. And we all just look at each other. And then we see this like thing. I forget oh my gosh, what happened? Oh, I'm trying to rack my brain because that's like the freakiest thing that's ever happened. I think the cable box light turned on at that point, or something else happened at that moment. And we're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And my mom was like, I think that's dad talking to us. And I like don't necessarily know how I feel about believing in that. I don't want to say I don't believe in ghosts, but I find that like the more I watch Ghost Adventures, the less I believe it. So I'm a little very wishy-washy, and I don't believe about relatives coming back to haunt you, to talk to you. I kind of think that stuff's more like to make you feel better, but not that it actually happens. So I was just like, if you want to believe that, go right ahead. But it's a little like, for me. So we go over to my nan's later, and she tells my nan, and my nan like gets spooked. She doesn't really believe in that sort of thing either. But when my pap passed away, I feel like she always thinks he's around. So I'm like, the whole situation is weird. Well, flash forward to today, mom had called the cable guy and was like, can you come check out why our TV box isn't working? The cable box light wasn't on, then it turned orange, and then it turned green, but we can't get it connected to the TV. And mom's like, we haven't touched the TV. The TV weighs like 60, 70 pounds. There's no moving that thing. Nothing can get behind it because it's like up against a shelf. Like, there's no reason this would not be working. Everything is plugged in right. All the outlets that it's plugged into are working. Like, no issues that should be causing this. So mom calls and they come today and they go to look at the TV. And mom texted me earlier and she says, cable guy put in new cable lines, said that the old ones were fried, and said that my TV is no longer working. We need to get rid of it. And this is like the biggest in your face thing we could like have about our mom. We have been saying, me, my sister, and my dad for years, that mom needed to get a new TV because you couldn't, it was one of those TVs from the 80s, so it didn't have any kind of HDMI hookup. You couldn't hook up anything more than like a VHS VCR player. That's all we had for years, like for the last 20 years of my life. And we like never could do any kind of gaming thing. You can't do Hulu, Netflix. It doesn't even have anything close to that. What you can get on cable is as good as it's gonna get. And that was barely anything, you know? And I was just like, wow, TV's out like that, like, wow. And mom was like, I think it was like, she's like, I think the whole stunt at Christmas was dad secretly telling me to get a new TV because he didn't want me to have it anymore. Because he always said that he wanted her to get rid of this TV. He even got a new one. Like, it was borrowed from somebody, but it's still a new to us TV that's chilling in my storage room, waiting on mom to have the space and to want to take it and put it up. So I was like shocked. I was like, oh my gosh. And it like just brings me back to that moment on Christmas Day where like the lights turned on and off. Nobody had gotten up. The white ALEXA was not ringing blue. There was no reason those lights should have went off, but they did. And we were all just like mind blown, like could not believe this ever happened. And now the TV is gone and it's like chills. Like, I still don't know how I feel about this. I'm feeling a little bit more like believing the whole dad thing just because like dad really did not like the TV. But at the same time, I'm still kind of like, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below, what your thoughts are, because I'm really interested to know, first of all, do you believe in any of this stuff? And also, do you think it could have possibly been my deceased father? Because it like has me like geeking. Like, to put it in 90s Clueless movie terms, I am geeking, okay? Like, oh, man. Man. It's been a week. Tell me how your week has been, how you guys are doing. If you need to chat, if you need to pick me up, any kind of video ideas you want to hear from me, I'd love to check out something new, something different. I want to start filming more videos and doing more things that I feel like you guys would be interested in, but I don't know what that is until you tell me. If not, that's okay. I'll figure it out and I'll just upload videos and you'll just have to deal with it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, for checking me out if you're new here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.